Thank you for joining us with Tuned In with Tokyo. Today I have a very, very special guest. I do have a story about Chad here. Chad Ayinde, correct?
That's perfect.
Ayinde? Yeah. Boom. Um, he has founded Battleborne Comics. I'm going to kind of open this door for him, let him just tell everybody about his company. Couple things you need to know about Chad. He's the nicest dude in the world. I know from firsthand. And again, I do have a story to back this up. But again, Chad, I want you to take the floor and just kind of talk about your experience in creating Battleborne Comics.
Yeah, certainly, Eddie. I appreciate the opportunity to hang out with you today and to share our story. So, my name is Chad Ayinde. I spent about 12 years in the Army as an infantry non-commissioned officer. I was an E6 when I left, and I was high on the E7 list for those of you that are paying close attention. I stepped out of the military to go do a few things that kind of resonated in the world of physical fitness. I was very interested in the direction the Army was trending as it pertained to the fitness realm. But additionally to that, one of the things that I always had in the back of my mind and something that I had been working on through my deployments, through my college time frame as a wrestler, through my high school time frame as a wrestler and football player, through my middle school time frame was writing. I've always been a guy who's super passionate about telling stories. And I have no formal training. I'm just a guy that watches movies, reads books, and has a cool concept or idea about some stuff and goes, man, and I'm sure you're probably the same, Eddie. You get to these situations where you go, man, if I had hands on that project, I probably could have done something special with it.
Been doing it with The Walking Dead lately, to be honest. So
perfect.
Yeah.
So
I think I have some good ideas.
I'm so interested in what you're saying because Robert Kirkman, who was someone who so much inspired the entire vision and mission statement of what we were trying to do for Battleborne Comics. That's so awesome. I want you to imagine this world where you take a guy like Robert Kirkman, a Kentucky-born kid who goes out to Los Angeles, California, and tries to make a world and a life for himself as a writer in writers' rooms and doing things special. He realizes in less than 12 months that this ain't working out. It's really expensive out here. I'm not finding the things I need to find, and I'm really stressed out. I need to get home. He goes back to Kentucky. And in Kentucky, he finds himself in a space where literally he goes, well, maybe I could pitch a couple of projects out to some people out there that are doing amazing things that I made contact with when I was in Hollywood. He writes aspects and elements of The Walking Dead and begins to build that into a small, the small groundswell of what it became on the internet and through the comic book studios. But then what he does is he reaches out to a contact, a close friend of his, and says, hey, I got this cool project. I think it would make a great television series. He gets out to have a conversation with that friend, and that friend says, let me introduce you to an executive because there's some interest here. The one issue is this: you are going to have a problem because zombies are zombies. Eventually that's all going to end. There's nothing here that's of more consequence or substance, is literally what that person says. So Robert Kirkman says, okay, so what do I need to do? They said, find a hook, find something that's cool, find something that is exciting. Well, he goes in to have a conversation. He sits down and he says, I've got this awesome procedural story that's going to go over multiple seasons that talks about people, the way that people interact with each other when the chips are down, the way that individual personnel are going to embrace each other or destroy each other in a world where things are crazy. I want you guys to help me bring this vision to life. And what he got from the executives was this. Well, zombie stories have been done before. It's cool, but it's not great. What else? What's special? Robert Kirkman, in this moment of stress and kind of panic, he goes, well, ultimately, when this all comes to an end, there's this alien horde that actually has dropped the zombies into place to ensure that, like, they're testing the human race to see how they would process through worlds like this. And it's the situation where aliens and zombies, it all kind of ties together and it creates this cool concept for all sorts of stuff. Now, the executives go, wow, that's different. That's new. We've never heard that before. Yeah. Wow. Robert Kirkman, to his manager, buddy, or person who's standing to the side, goes, none of that's happening. But I'll say what I got to say to get my foot in the door.
Absolutely.
And literally, this is how The Walking Dead was established. He walked into a room, pitched the story of the concept. When they asked him a question, he went, aliens and zombies. And they went, wow, that's different. Let's go. And from there, Robert Kirkman turned that into a multi-million-dollar project. A guy from Kentucky. I'm a guy from Indiana. A military guy from Indiana. And for me, the entire idea of what I call Battleborne Comics, creative content forged from combat, was designed around this exact same philosophy. It is a 1 in a million shot of, hey, if you can get the right person at the right time in the right moment with the right story, you can lock them up. And ultimately, the goal is to take any momentum that is built and provide a vessel for military veterans to move forward. The world that we live in today is based so heavily around what they qualify as minority creators. You will find competitions based around women, competitions based around transgender individuals, competitions based around African Americans, Asian Americans, and all of these other aspects of minorities. During my 12-year military career, one of the things they told us on a regular basis is that we were less than 1% of the overall population. So my question that really became the catalyst for Battleborne's entire creation was, if we're less than 1% of the entire population, how many veterans exist in Hollywood? How many veterans are associated with overall creative projects? Because I promise you, when you go through basic training, advanced individual training, AIT, or any other space, no one is asking you, hey, can you show me how you draw pictures? Can you show me how you write stuff? It's about being combat efficient and combat ready.
Yeah.
But I promise you, in the 12 years I was there, I met incredible artists, incredible writers, incredible editors. And these individuals, just like anyone else, deserve some opportunity to take that and build it into something. Why would it not make sense for them to step out take their talents and go elsewhere. So what I did is I co-founded Battleborne Comics with a great artist, a guy by the name of Robin Belleville. I believe he is a sergeant first class now, but I've been out for a couple of years, so we don't quite know the process. He is the artist for our major and feature title for Battleborne Comics. That is a conversation or a story that we call Half No Fury, which is a little bit of a mature property associated with a drug addicted or kind of drug recovering individual who is dealing with a super religious family who's thrust into this biblical war for the souls of mankind when he has this weird chance encounter at a club with a guy he believes is a guardian angel. However, we will learn later in the story that character is not quite that piece of the puzzle. So the thing I love about Half No Furies is a story I've been writing since I was in high school, and I'm now a 36-year-old man. So I've had a lot of time to think about it, a lot of time to play with some different concepts and story philosophies. What we've done is we've cut it as books, which are 3-issue series. In those 3 issues, we treat those as the 9 circles of hell from Dante's Inferno. So the story in its entirety is 27 issues, 3 issues per book. So you end up with 9 books. And that's something that we've been working very hard on throughout our time frame. We now, at this moment in time, have 3. We have the first book completed, the Book of Limbo, the first 3 issues, which I believe you've had an opportunity to check out, Eddie.
I have. Got the first one right here.
Awesome.
Number 2.
That's a lion among men. I love it.
And then the third one.
That's Hellbound. Love it.
Kind of back that up so everybody can see all the art. I mean, just Thank you. Much talent right here, just on the covers, you know. And I'm pretty sure I know who drew those covers too.
That's right. I was gonna say that same thing, man. Like, so Adam Del Rey, who is one of the most talented artists that I've ever come across, and also a former military guy. He spent a fair amount of time with 25th ID. He was in Hawaii for a fair amount of his time in the service. He immediately fit right in the line with the Battleborne Comics overall vision and mission. But the thing that was also cool about him is my wife and I randomly stumbled across him at Walker Stalker Con in Atlanta, Georgia. We saw his wife's amazing tattoos. We questioned her on how awesome they were. And she literally said, "This guy right here did them." And we went, "Who are you? You're awesome." So Adam has become, not only is he my wife's tattoo artist as well, he has become the major cover guy for all of the Half No Fury series and property. We have been working on that guy now for a long period of time. Honestly, I started writing it when I was a kid. It's a long story, but it is a story worth investing time in. We have also begun the production this year of a story called Progeny, which is a little more Terminator-esque if you were to compare it to something. It's a futuristic society where you have a combination of mutants, cyborgs, and an oppressive government that were kind of tying together to create a random strain of characters. Now,
awesome.
Yeah, it's exciting. We have it it's getting colored now, so we're hopeful we can release issue 1 in the next 3 months. But another thing that is very interesting is that I'm sure 2020, the world of the pandemic created a lot of friction and problems for everybody.
Oh, absolutely.
And for us as a upstart company starting your small business in 2020, we kind of walked ourselves right into the meat grinder. And one of the things with that was, well, what do you do if comic shops aren't open? Comic people around you are not susceptible because they have lost so much money. They're not willing to take chances on new writers, new artists, new stories, new concepts. How do you get your story out there, or what do you do in the meantime? One of the things that we have begun to kind of embrace is the idea or concept of what I call the 30 days of night model. And so the 30 days of night model is another kind of red star cluster. You take the guys from 30 Days of Night, the people who produced that comic and that concept. Mm-hmm. They were a group of people who worked for Jim Lee when he created Wild Horse Productions. They were a package of very talented artists, editors, and individuals who brought a ton to the table. And essentially what happened was Jim Lee, they were excited about this idea of let's do something new, creative, crazy, audacious, different than anyone else that's out there. Well, eventually there came a time where Jim Lee was talking to DC Comics and some of the big guys. And he literally said, oh, okay. We got a great thing here. We've got multiple properties under us. I'd like to sell the Wild Horse concept to this larger industry. Well, the individuals that worked under him were very unhappy with this concept. And they said, I don't like it. I don't want to be a part of a bigger entity. We started this to escape the bigger entities. We wanted to do our own thing without the drama, without the hard line determination for what you guys are telling us we have to do. We wanted freedom. Yeah. And we don't feel like we have it. So these guys, after essentially walking away from their job, said, let's go all have a drink at the bar. They sat down, they had a drink, and they said, hey, anybody got any ideas for where we're going from here? I'm an artist, I'm an editor, I'm a writer. What are we doing? You had a guy who said, hey, I'm a writer and I have this cool story that I think would really resonate with people if we could just get it off the ground. I started the idea and concept for it, but I don't know how anybody's going to feel. What could we do to bring it to the next level? Yeah, an artist who said, you give me any story that makes sense, I'll get on it, I'll tackle it, I'll write it, I'll draw it, I'll do whatever you need me to do to make it something special. And then you had an editor who went, well, if you guys do all that stuff, I'll do the easy thing, which is I'll look at it and make sure nothing looks like crap.
Yeah. I need that job. That's what I need.
And so literally what they did is they created the concept and series for 30 Days of Night, which for anyone that is familiar with Vampires in Alaska, Dark for 30 Days with Josh Hartnett movie, mm-hmm. This is literally, it was birthed from the concept of this. I'm going to have a drink at the bar with my buddies and talk. Once this was created, this very small package of ideas and concepts, few guys went out and tried to pitch that to get it somewhere. as they were going through that process, they were also working on turning it into a comic. And so essentially what happened, and something that I was very interested in, is that there were enough individuals who pitched on it to become like to establish a bidding war. There were enough executive entities that went, man, that's a cool concept. Man, that's a cool idea. Man, I really like that. Man, I really appreciate that philosophy. So many people jumped on it, it became a bidding war. And eventually that turned into a project that group sold to a major publishing industry. I believe it was Paramount, but I may be off. They sold it to a major publishing industry for $1.8 million.
Wow.
They took that $1.8 million and they literally put it back into themselves to create a foundation for what they were trying to build as an entity. That is when they've continued to this day.
Which is a great business move, is to take the money you get and invest it back into your own company.
1 billion%. Absolutely. And that's something that we've been trying very hard to do with Battleborne Comics, is every dollar that comes in the door from every comic that we receive goes straight into our Battleborne Comics pot in an attempt to create additional opportunities for aspiring veteran creators. My wife and this is weird. My wife makes enough money. We don't have to make any kind of crazy, I'm going to take my money out of this. So this literally is an opportunity for us to create and establish a project and product that we don't have to siphon from at all as a family. It literally is there for Battleborne Comics. Anything that comes in from a veteran space under Battleborne Comics will be funded and handled and kind of controlled by us. That's the whole op.
That's awesome. And I know with a lot of business, it's hard for people to be in that, a lot of them are not in that situation. So it's hard, like their business is their income. And, it's a blessing that you guys can do this without actually having to pull out of the business. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's something that has been, you say a blessing, and it's absolutely a blessing to be able to say, hey, here's what you're working on, or I'm working on, or a package of people within our framework is working on, and we're going to be able to fund it with no major concern or issue. If you are a veteran, if you are an individual who is in the military or out of the military and have served, we are looking for opportunities to not only help produce the material that you're working on, but we're also looking for chances to train, develop, and mentor you if you're looking for an opportunity to get there. We are opening on a daily basis some pretty amazing contacts. Something I can share pretty comfortably is I'm a major member of the Stage 32 overall group, which they are a group of personnel, and it's a large organization and industry. I don't run it or anything. It's a lot of people that are associated with it, but I'm part of that community. They are like a private Facebook for writers, producers, gaffers for lighting, anyone who's doing directing, assistant directing, anyone who's looking for really anything in the media industry. And they have really become this very special catalyst to some very successful work. I was granted an amazing opportunity to do 3 pitches for a project that I'm working on, a project we call Subpar, which is basically a superhero Uber story. an animated feature for kids where you have a character that doesn't feel like he's a hero, but he has powers, and he signs up for this app where you get rated by stars, and it's a really cool and fun concept. I pitched it 3 times through stage 32. I now have 3 Hollywood executives who have that script in my hand in their hand, because at conclusion of my pitch, they actually requested the overall script to say, love the pitch, love the concept, premise is cool, let me take a look. Now, keep in mind, not any of those situations is going to, it's not going to be like, oh, you make $1 million tomorrow. But to have 3 people in Hollywood who have a script in their hands that had no clue who you were literally before that period of time where you talked to them, it's a really cool concept and idea to feel like, hey, we're moving somewhere. We've really done some great things. Battleborne Comics was officially launched in February of 2020 during the pandemic. And in that time, we have now won 2 best screenplay competitions, one in Chicago, one in Los Angeles. We have applied for and are waiting for feedback on 11 fellowship opportunities to go work within the industry for a period of time to develop the network and experiences. We have strategically positioned ourselves to talk to, establish some framework with, and have conversations with what I would say is about 5 organizations now that are either in the realm of training individuals who are going into the media industry, where we could potentially say, if you're a vet, you could come in here free of charge, or if you're a vet, you could come in here at a significantly discounted price. Additionally, we have been working very heavily to hopefully ensure that we can get to a place where when someone brings a completely packaged product to us, hey, I got this idea, story, characters, it's all set, I created a script, I've already done all the work prior to, we can pass it through to our contacts that we have in an attempt to insert additional veterans into the overall space. Our ultimate goal is not to make any money off of anybody that is a vet. We literally want to help those guys. We want to open a door to let those guys walk through, or gals. We want them to walk through and have an opportunity to build their careers off of those opportunities. That's literally what we've kind of tried to create here.
That's awesome. That is, and like you said, there's so much talent in the military that, kind of goes unseen and stuff. And you talked about the 1%, let's tap into it.
That's it.
Why not?
Yeah, you talk about minorities, and you say, if you say minorities, when you have that conversation, I know obviously it's a weird one as me as a biracial guy, but like when you talk about minorities, you're literally looking at the situation and saying, hey, if I am looking for a minority population, what I would qualify as underrepresented are military personnel. Because I think that if they only make up 1% of the overall world, there's no way they make up a large percentage of the overall entertainment community.
Oh, absolutely not.
And so my ultimate goal is to get to a place where we can create opportunities to build those guys into a more, to a larger, give them more of a voice, I guess, is where I would say.
That's awesome. I mean, I don't know. I get chills just thinking about it. It's just, I don't know. I like what you're doing. You know, I'm happy that you're succeeding, you know,
Appreciate
because
it.
a lot of people, especially during a pandemic, I mean, you've opened a new company. Most people would have folded by now, you know.
Absolutely.
That's just, it's amazing to see you putting your dreams out there, following them. Like you said, you're not become a millionaire overnight, but like you said, you got 3 executives that have a script in their hand now. Who knows where this can go now?
That's
Whether
right.
it not be those scripts, maybe it's something else they dive into later or something. You know, it just amazing.
Well, and I think, Eddie, as you say that, I think that's really a big piece of this, right? Like, so I'm an over preparer, is what I would call myself. I don't do anything until I have gone in and done a ridiculous amount of research. And one of the things that I have recognized from a research perspective is walking to the table with a single project and hoping that project's going to make it is a problem.
Yeah.
So I initially I was like, this animated family comedy feature is gonna be my world. And it as time has progressed, I've recognized there's no way that could be the case. So what I've done from there is I've taken steps toward not only creating some animated pilots, a 30-minute and a 60-minute pilot in the event someone wanted to take the feature and turn it into a television series. I wanted to have those on hand, but I've also gone through, I'm working on a television sitcom right now that's a 30-minute push, a pilot for a series I'm thinking on. Additionally, I've also knocked out a drama, kind of what would I call it? A Friday Night Lights meets Vision Quest. If you're a high school wrestling,
wow. Yeah.
I wrote one of those bad boys, and so I wrote a pilot for that. And I'm kind of just trying to open as many different narratives as I possibly can.
Yeah.
In the event you talk to someone and they say, hey, I'm not an animation person, and you go, well, what do you think about drama? Well, what do you think about comedy? Well, what do you think about, if you bring a lot of stuff to the table, it gives you this great opportunity to, at the very least, continue conversation. And I think when you're talking about building relationships, especially in the Hollywood industry, that is the most important thing. Is how do we keep this conversation going? First date, second date, third date, fourth date, let's get married.
Yeah.
You gotta build your way there. So if someone comes to you and says, I don't care about comedy, you gotta be a person who's like, you can be a person that says, well, okay, great. Well, I'll go find somebody that cares about comedy and lose that opportunity. Or you can be a person who walks in the door and says, oh, well, you don't like comedy? Well, guess what? I got a drama script. You want to take a look at it? Hey, guess what? I've also got an animated family script. You want to take a look at it? I also have a horror script. Do you want to take a look at that?
I do. I want to see that. That's what I want to see. That's where I met you, as a horror con. So
yeah.
I want to see that. But no, you're right. I mean, just bringing variety to the table and being, almost having that option of saying yes to everything. You know, they, like you said, they don't like comedy. Okay, well, I got other stuff here. Go through it. Pick what you like. You know.
That's it. You want to be able to provide people multiple options, because when you narrow them down to one, it may take you forever to find your partner, the person that really wants to settle in on that one story. Like, imagine a world like a needle in a haystack. Imagine I'm looking for my one needle in this haystack of people, and I'm going to all I'm going to give them is one point they can touch, because it's comedy, it's family, it's this, it's that, it's this one story, and it's all that I got. Versus, hey, I've done 9 stories, 10 stories of different degrees, my focus and drive and idea and concept, that's 9 chances that that needle in the haystack can hit something that you may have in your repertoire.
Yeah.
So I, obviously I'm not a guy who's like, I'm not famous. I ain't done anything yet. But I can tell you, based off the research that I've done, which has been hours upon hours upon hours of watching and looking at videos and what other people are doing and reading blogs and vlogs and concepts, what I've found is that the more stuff you have under your umbrella, the more in demand you will be when you do find the person that speaks to your voice. Hey, I like you. I think you're a great writer. Let me see what else you got. You send them 12 projects versus you send them one. There's a very big difference in the way your relationship is going to move forward.
And who knows who they're friends with, because their friend might be looking for a comedy while they're looking for a drama. And now you've just touched 2 people, Absolutely. It's like, being prepared is, I think it's a little lost these days. I think a lot of people just kind of wing it these days. I know I do on a lot of my shows. I just wing it. Sometimes they turn out, sometimes they don't, But this is
hopefully this isn't one of the ones going off.
No. I read the material, so it was more about my food stuff. So I just eat and go. So
yeah, I'll tell you, man. Like, one of the things that I know, what I've been very blessed in, I think, and I may have said it earlier, but so I've done 3 pitches now through the Stage 32 group that I've been associated with. The first was to Venetia Media. The second was to a talent agency that I don't quite recall the name of. And the third was to one of the original animators from The Lion King through Disney.
Oh, nice.
I received 3. I did 3 pitches. I received 3 script requests through all of those, which was very exciting because, I've heard in my limited experience in this world, I've heard that pitches can make or break you as a creator. Sometimes if you pitch and it's not what they're looking for, that you don't get a shot. So I feel really good about the fact that, and I actually have met some people who pitched and their stuff was not picked up. So it's been very nice to see some of that success. My hope, though, is that through pitching and getting my script into the hands of people who have done this for a living and for a while, they will give me some feedback that is actionable, because I would love to improve my capability with Battleborne Comics. We kind of operated on a 3-year plan. Last year, our focus was heavily based around content and credibility. So we were really driving hard into how do we develop content and how do we boost our credibility? What's it going to take? One of the things we decided were competitions, and I won a couple. So I was like, okay, we got our credibility. We're moving along. We're doing some good things. We've kind of checked that off the list. But this year, our major focus has been around knowledge and networking. And so my entire philosophy for the year of 2021 has been, how do I increase and improve the knowledge of the individuals within Battleborne Comics? And how do I increase and improve our networking capability? And so we have seen some really amazing, what would I call it? Growth, I guess that would be the best word for it. with a group here locally called Huntsville Hollywood, a training academy for actors, writers, directors, artists, and filmmakers that I've started some major dialogue with here recently. And their head, a guy by the name of Bill Billions, is actually very interested in figuring out how to establish um, a program of record for military personnel that will allow them to come in free of charge or at a very discounted rate to learn the process of filmmaking from script to screen so that we can produce and create more individuals from the military formation moving out into the world to hopefully create some other opportunities.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We're working, man. It's been a lot.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I can only imagine how much time you've already put into this stuff, and like you said, you just got your foot in the door, so it still amazes me. It just really does.
I appreciate it, man. You had a chance to check out the comics. How you feel about those, the direction they're rolling?
I'm not happy that I only got 3 right now because I want to keep going. So, the art is different. I haven't seen this kind of art really.
Yeah.
I not in a bad way. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. I don't know. It's different. It stands out.
That was something that was incredibly important to us because we wanted to find a way to stand out beyond the average like X-Men comic or Batman comic. I grew up on comics. And so one of the things that we kind of wanted to do is take the philosophy or concept of like a graphic novel. If you were to ever look at something like Grant Morrison and Dave McKean's Arkham Asylum, or something along those lines, it's a lot more like deep and there's a lot of layers and things are a little bit more cloudy and it's a different kind of experience. We wanted to take the philosophy and concept of graphic novels and adapt them to like a regular, loose leaf, easy to access comic book. And so that's something we've really been trying to push with is keeping that very mucky, murky concept and philosophy, a graphic novel feel, but releasing them as regular individual comic issues.
One thing I did like was in this first book, you kind of follow Aiden's point of view of everything. And then that second one, which I really got into because it showed me how it ended with the girl,
Absolutely.
But you followed his character, and I was just like, you made 2 issues from 2 different point of views that all meet into the middle, but they're so different. Their journeys are so different.
Yeah.
And then when they meet, I was like, okay. At first I was a little confused because I was like, when I first opened it, I was like, okay, so is this after the hospital scene or is this, and then when he talks about going to get a drink and stuff, I was like, oh, I see what he's doing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I don't want to spoil it for people. I don't.
I love to have something that's I assume is authentic to my writing style because I am the writer and editor for Battleborne Comics. One of the things I'm very interested in is always kind of creating that false narrative, unreliable narrator concept the same way. Hey, we listened to the Joker movie. We watched Joker tell a whole story. We're not sure if it was real or not real. We don't know what's going on. Something I've always had a real interest or intrigue in is these unreliable narrators. And so from I like to tell stories from perspective of the individual who's experiencing, because each narrator has their own interpretation of a story. You and I can experience something that is exactly the same, but we can interpret it two very different ways. And so in most of my writing, through this story, through almost every other story I touch, you will see that same dichotomy of, hey, is this something that it wasn't like this, wasn't like this, wasn't like that, that guy said, this guy said, I don't really know how I feel about it. And my hope is that the readers or watchers, if any of this stuff ever becomes a series, my hope would be that those individuals kind of take their own interpretation based off of the different perspectives they've seen, to say, hey, here's what I think happened. This guy said this, that guy said that, this guy said that. And when I tie those things together, this is the conclusion I come
to. Has there been any writers, mainly in the comic book field, that kind of inspired your writing?
Absolutely. So I would say that first and foremost, and probably the biggest in the entire framework, is Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman came in. Yeah, Neil Gaiman has really been the catalyst for almost everything that I've done in the writing community. I got to see him. I went to Rutgers and watched him speak. I'm a Neil Gaiman mark. I will this is my guy.
For people that don't know,
Gods. What's that?
Yeah, as I was about to say, for people that don't know, American Gods is a Neil Gaiman.
Yep, Good Omens.
He just got what Sandman's going to be coming out
Sandman, too. Oh yeah,
yeah.
Sandman was my start. That was the beginning of my world. I'm also a Batman chunky, so anything that's like Grant Morrison touched, I'm jumping on, because I do love Grant. Anything that's Brian Azzarello touched, I'm probably jumping on. Brian Azzarello did Joker. He did 100 Bullets, which was a heck of a series. My goodness. But I'm really into people who take the comic, and then I would assume, even beyond that, I would go all the way back to the Watchmen.
Oh yeah,
it's probably one of my originals, simply because I want to, everything that I do, I want to be grounded in some capacity in reality. I've never been a creator that goes space travel, this is the world, we're creating a whole new universe. I like my heroes, my villains, the characters, the concepts to all be grounded in some semblance of reality. And so I would absolutely say that that's kind of where I'm at. Gaiman and Azzarello are my two bigs.
That's awesome. I mean, just seeing what Gaiman has put out now, I hope the best for you. I want movies, TV shows. We'll take whatever, but but I'm gonna need fourth issue soon. So because
I've got the first 9 written of the 27. We got the first 9 written, so our first quarter. And it's obviously just working on my artist, giving him the time to do what he does in the time that he does it in. And I always have a colorist lined up, because kind of the way that we run through our process, obviously Adam is our cover guy. Adam will do every cover we touch from start to finish every single time, because his work's amazing. We appreciate him, and he's a amazing vet. Our internal work will always come from my co-founder, as far as, as long as I can control it, from Robin Belleville, who is an amazing artist, amazing creator, and an E7. He's a sergeant first class in the military right now, working his way toward retirement. So he's a big time dude. And then as we continue with the colorists and things along those lines, we also try very hard. It's not always the case, but we do try very hard to ensure those personnel always have some attachment or semblance of attachment to the military. If you don't even have a family member that's ever served and you don't know anything about it, we don't really know that you're the right person for the project. Like, we would rather have some quality that might be slightly downgraded to support someone in the community we're trying to operate within than to have the, you know, $1 million person who worked at DC Comics for the last 20 years. Like, the goal here is to uplift veterans. Mm-hmm. And that's the dream, that's the idea, that's the concept. So we're not out here going, let me just create the, you know, let me go pay the $90 a page for whoever and the $100 for whoever. Like, we want the people that are have some attachment or semblance of attachment to the military. This is what we're looking for. We want to showcase vets and their capability so that when time they have a portfolio to show for themselves if they want to go somewhere. But additionally, we have the ability to put them on our back, and as we continue to steamroll our way up the hill into Hollywood, we can say, here's 5 people who are amazing creators that you guys have never heard of that serve in the uniform. Absolutely. This is what our hope is.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
I appreciate it, man. I'm hopeful we can keep pushing it. We've seen a lot of success in a very short period of time, and we're hopeful we can keep building the way that we are.
Couple kind of off the Battleborne. What kind of content are you consuming now?
Me? What am I consuming? Oh my goodness. So it'd be a combo thing. So I just finished watching the first full season of Snowpiercer.
Okay.
I had heard a lot about it, and I was very interested in the concept, the premise, idea. I'm a Chronicles of Narnia kid, so I was, when I heard snow and there's this train and there's these people, I got kind of excited about that. Someone, and I don't even remember who it was, recommended to me 30 coins. 30 coins. Yeah. So Hath No Fury was my project, is something that is so closely related to 30 coins that I was like, wow. So it is it's a foreign film on HBO Plus or HBO Max.
Max, yeah.
Max, HBO Max. And it has all subtitles based in Spain about an exorcist who spent some time in prison and eventually was extradited to a location. He's in this location, a situation happens, suddenly there's all these weird supernatural events that are taking place where he's located. And what we find is that there is all this power in emblems, concepts, ideas. So in the religious community, hey, we have the sponge that Jesus used to wash the prostitute's feet. This sponge actually is a powerful item. It's something very important, something that when used, it has magical capability. The 3 scrolls that were brought by the 3 wise men to baby Jesus, all are magic stuff. It's ways to become a god, ways to perform miracles. This is all things along those lines. And so the 30 coins of Judas are the 3 that were paid to Judas for betraying Jesus, are the most powerful bad guy energy emblems in the entire universe. And so essentially 29 of them have been collected by this rogue sect of Rosicrucians who are like, we just need one more, and you fall in on their pursuit of the 30th coin, which will pretty much give them the ability to change the world based off of it's really intriguing. There's some flaws. Every show has flaws. There's some flaws, but I'll tell you, man, like that was one when I'm writing Happen of Fury, which is a religiously based framework. That show was one that I was like, whoa, I'm interested in this. So so I watched that whole season, and then I'm an 80s to 90s baby. So I probably sound like a nerd. Don't be mad at me. But
hey, I'm a nerd, baby. I'm a nerd. So,
but so Nickelodeon Teen Nick has the Are You Afraid of the Dark return? They returned the series.
Yeah, I've seen that. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, so I've been watching that little pieces at a time. I actually have 2 or 3 that I still need to touch now. Obviously, I've been out of the town for the last couple of weeks because of mom passing. But before that, I was every Friday. That was a Friday night thing. I'm here, me and my dogs, hanging out on the couch. We're all cuddled up watching Are You Afraid of the Dark? And it's a sequential series, so it's a serialized. Every single episode ties to the next, same characters, same premise, and it's been fun to watch. I've been keeping up close with that one, so that's about really where my take in is right now. And beyond that, I've been working on my own projects and trying to write some stuff outside my comfort zone. So I want to just get a little better. And it sometimes it takes you challenging yourself. So I don't think myself a very funny guy. I got some like quirky comedy, but I wanted to do something different. So right now I'm writing a television sitcom, and just kind of trying to push myself. And I'll throw it to my writing group I'll meet up with on Sunday and let them rip it apart and tell me how crappy of a comedian I
am. that constructive criticism, man.
That's what
we all hope for and want, right?
You got to have thick skin in this industry, man. It doesn't matter how good you think you are. Someone somewhere will tell you that you're garbage. So you got to be ready for it.
And it doesn't matter if everybody loves you. The internet will tell you how they really feel. You could have the #1 hit show, like I've been watching forever, The Walking Dead, and even at its peak, people were still tearing it down. So it just doesn't matter. You can't satisfy everybody, but at the same time, screw them. I'll be PG. Screw them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, just going off the kind of nostalgia train with the Are You Afraid of the Dark? I watched that new Mighty Ducks show.
Oh,
Disney
yeah.
Plus.
Was it?
It's bad. And I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's the same story basically. It's just a new group of kids, and the acting is very Nickelodeon, Disney-ish, So it is what it is.
They tried to catch the Cobra Kai. They tried to catch the Cobra Kai nostalgia, didn't they?
Yes. And don't get me wrong, Cobra Kai.
The
the acting in that, a lot of it's bad too. But you know what? I'm gonna watch both of them because it brings back the nostalgia. It makes me feel like a kid again. So
that's what it is. It's the title. The name makes more. It matters more than what you're gonna actually consume.
Absolutely.
That's
absolutely.
Right.
It's so again, nerd here. I will consume it. I
love it. I feel like we should be talking weekly.
Oh yeah.
Just to talk about nerd stuff, because I love my semblance of nerd stuff. I'm digging pretty hard.
We get me, you, and we'll get Brandon on here.
Yes.
I know he's a nerd like us, and he likes to watch all this stuff. So, there was a question I wanted to ask you, because you said you had something for the audience here. We had talked before the show started. You had worked with Under Armour.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was in the military for 12 years. I was an infantry soldier. I was a staff sergeant when I left, number 1 on the E7 list. My last duty position was as the state master fitness trainer for the state of Indiana, where I established a program called the Lifestyle and Fitness Program that we called Life Fit. And it was kind of a holistic wellness program for soldiers that were having a tough time improving their overall health and wellness. Hey, I can't pass the PT test. I'm a little bit too chunky. There are things about me that I would like to fix to ensure that I can live up to the standards the Army has laid out for me. And so we had when it was all said and done, a 15-day program. It was 10 days up front where they would come spend time with us, get an initial diagnostic tracking thing through the Army Wellness Center, where they would go through and get body fat percentage and stress level tests and all these other things that allowed us to kind of just dial in on their overall health and wellness. We'd send them home for some time and then bring them back for 5 days later, probably like 2 months later, where we could kind of see, did they keep up? Did they not keep up? Is like one of those type of things. That job actually led over time into me finding my way into a position as the director of tactical fitness for a company called FX Well, which were the subsidiary partners of Under Armour. Where we created a program and designed and developed one called the Fit to Serve program. It was a nationally recognized and USO, the United Services Organization, supported program where we provided every soldier that came through the program a band tracking device, which was typically an Under Armour fitness band. We gave them a suite of applications, the FX Well application, the Under Armour Record application, and the MyFitnessPal application for tracking essentially your nutrition, and MyFitnessPal, your overall kind of everything tied together in a hub with Under Armour. And then the FX Well app, which was where our certified personal trainers and strength and conditioning coaches could actually personally program stuff for you that they sent straight to your phone when you were at home.
Oh, nice.
So it was a really cool experience, because what we were able to do is go spend a few days with soldiers, teach them about what we called the SENSE model, which was sleep, exercise, nutrition, stress management. And when those things are done appropriately, you enjoy your life. We would give them a training methodology associated with the SENSE model, give every single person Under Armour fitness band that we would then sync to all of their applications. And then we would hook them up with a personal coach who would do an interview with them to say, hey, here's my problem. I work third shift. I'm in a factory and my life sucks and I'm getting a divorce and I lost my kid and everything's not good. And with that experience, it was, we had some great coaches who could kind of work through some of those. Well, ultimately what our hope is, we can't do a lot about the kid. We can't do a lot about the divorce, but what we can do a little bit about is how you feel about yourself. And the baseline foundational building block for how you feel about yourself is going to have some semblance of attachment to your physical fitness and capability. Promise your anxiety will drop if we can get you in a space where you work out. promise that if you have an opportunity to talk to someone who you feel like is a counselor or willing to have your back when you're stressing, you're going to feel a lot better. We are that for you. So let's build you a plan. Tell me about your injuries. They'd go through their process, tell injuries. You plug in on the back side of the application as a coach or trainer all of their problems and issues. And then what you would do is assign them a program with videos. You could hit the button and they show you exactly how to do everything based around scientifically, solidified and backed exposure through the National Academy of Sports Medicine or the National Strength and Conditioning Association. So NSCA and NASM were the two that we really stayed heavily attached to as an organization because they're licensed nationally. And so we would take an entire program we built for a person who has, I got hip issues, I got a knee issue, everything else is fine, but I also have stress. Plug a program to them and they could actually follow that program day to day, look through their phone on an app that we provided them. And then everything they did and logged would hit their band and then come to a dashboard for coaches on the backside. We would have a call with them every 2 weeks. And in that 2-week call, we would sit down, look through their dashboard and talk to them about their numbers. Your sleep seems off. Talk to me about your process. Let's have like a counseling session about the things that don't seem quite where they need to be. And this was something Under Armour was doing in an attempt to improve the lives of soldiers, because as an organization, they are very heavily committed to an idea of, hey, we want to ensure that the people that are fighting for our freedoms and all the things we're trying to do, we want to ensure those people are taken care of, because so many people send them out on the front lines and let them shoot and let them get blown up and let them do things, and no one cares about their actual upkeep. Under Armour tried to commit themselves to that, and it's something I can't applaud them or FX well enough for. Two amazing organizations that partnered to really build soldiers into the walking weapons that we hope they can be as they defend the freedoms of America.
Yeah. And I mean, it's kind of showing that that's kind of rubbed off on you by creating Battleborne, and you are bringing these military people in and trying to project them into better careers and being able to share their talents with the world. Yeah.
1,000,000%. I love that. And that is exactly, I mean, you captured everything in a nutshell there. The hope and goal is that when people are ready to be done with the military, or they don't even have to be done, if they're still in and they have plans and ideas and drives for a life beyond, like, we want to be here as a bridge to that eventual world. If you're in the military or you're getting out of the military, either way, and your focus or drive is, hey, I want to be in the entertainment industry and I'm trying to figure out how to get there, we want to be a catalyst to that for people. And we're not the only one, I always want to ensure that people know we're not the first to do this. We're not, we are one in a very large ecosystem of people doing this process or project. And so if someone comes across someone like ASAP, the Army, there's an Army strategic arts partnership or something along those lines that's based in the East Coast. Totally cool and fine. Go find that. We are literally here if you are in the Midwest or down south, because our headquarters is Alabama, northern Alabama. If you are someone who is in a space around those frameworks, or you can't find anybody, you're looking for somebody, we're here, and we're more than happy to put as much effort, time into you from a development perspective, from an internship perspective to try and push you from where you are today to where you want to go. If you just want to draw on occasion, if you just want to color on occasion, if you just want to do a couple of covers, if you want to go work in Hollywood and have an opportunity as a director or something, we want to have a hand in kind of becoming the catalyst to move you through there. We don't want anything for it. We're not asking for pay of any type. We literally just want to have a hand in the process, because we learn as other people learn. Yeah.
Just making a few connections here.
Yeah.
So you wrestled.
I did.
Part of Under Armour.
Yep.
Now you're trying to get into Hollywood. You're basically The Rock.
Well,
there's connections there, man.
I can't get his eyebrow going, but but I will take the comparison. I'll be happy about it.
Well, Chad, man, I really do appreciate your time.
Hey, I appreciate you, brother.
I want to share a story with everybody. We met you at, it was Indiana Horror Hound.
Yeah.
I met you through Brandon, Katie, and Alana.
That's right.
So I met you and your wife there. Talked to you for maybe about 10, 15 minutes. Then we kind of went on our ways. That was the last time I saw you until my son, my wife, and I were at Cincinnati Horror Hound. And it was packed. You guys were there. We were sitting down eating. And I looked over and I was like, I know those two. I've seen them somewhere. Where have I seen them? And then I don't know if it was you or your wife, but one of you recognized me. And then we just kind of started talking again. And it was like, I remember now, it was Indiana Horror Hound. We talked to each other, and it's like, okay. So I don't know if you remember this, but you and your wife had VIP passes.
Yeah.
And you guys weren't coming back for the rest of the weekend. And you're just like, you can have them. If people don't know, that's an expensive ticket. That's a very expensive ticket. There was a couple people from the Stranger Things there. So this place was packed. Everything was pretty much sold out. And my son looks like Gaten Maserata, who plays Dustin on Stranger Things. So they've interacted before and stuff. And he was there to meet him again. And because of that VIP, we got to cut everybody. I know it sounds kind of floozy, but we got to cut everybody. But that's not the point of the story. The point of the story was there's so many people waiting, and most of these people were not going to be able to meet him because of the lines and stuff. And since you gave those to us, we decided we were just going to pay it forward and give it to somebody else.
Oh, that's awesome.
And my wife was standing there, and this little girl, she was just standing there, she had her Stranger Things hat on and stuff like that. And she's all excited. Well, they weren't going to meet Gaten till like 7 p.m. And that was another like 4 hours away. So my wife went up, talked to her and her mom, and just like, we have this VIP pass. It was given to us. We don't want anything for it, but you could go meet Gaten right now if you wanted to. So we gave it to them. They went, they met. And I mean, you've been to Cincinnati Horror Hound. It's packed. It's like sardines
crazy.
In there.
It gets crazy in that spot. It does.
And we're out there in the front area where crossing between rooms. And this little girl found my wife and gave her the biggest hug and thanked her. And it just melted our heart that, because she didn't care about anything else. She got to meet her hero, and because of you,
I love it.
Paying it forward. It was something that, I'll never forget. I'll never forget that. I mean, it would be like us meeting our favorite baseball player or, wrestler, whatever, or meeting The Rock. I mean, he was just in heaven the rest of the day, so she gave my wife a big hug and just thanked her. And
oh, that's awesome. I can't believe that ours transitioned to that. Like, I'm excited because I would say, though we are a part of that, you also, as a family, were a heavy part of that to allow her to go that route, and that's awesome on you guys' part as well. Like we found people we like and know and said, hey, here's to back you up, and you guys found a stranger and said, here's something to back you guys up. So I definitely acknowledge that we were a piece of that, but I would say you guys even more so were a heavy part of making that girl's day, and it's such a cool overall experience. I love helping people, and I'm assuming you're a guy that is cut from a similar cloth. I don't know that we would be friends if that wasn't the case. So
yeah.
So with it, it's awesome. It's so awesome to hear that story. We had no idea that's where that eventually went to, but it's great to know that you guys did something of value with it and made somebody else's life better. I do appreciate that so much, and I'm excited to know that's where that story ended.
Yeah. And of course, we run into you guys at Walker Stalker again. You and Jamie. It was me and my buddy Matt, and got to have dinner with you guys. So that's just it's small things like that, man. It just being able to go. I miss the cons because of that.
I do.
Seeing everybody. Just even if you're friends for that day, it's like you see them at another con, you're friends again. It's you might not communicate daily, but you're there for the same reasons. You're there to hang out, have a great time.
That's right.
And I've built so many relationships this way. How you guys met Adam is how I met Adam. Brandon pulled me up to a line that he was standing in for photos. He's like, "Hey man, you got to come see this girl's leg."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah." Her whole Walking Dead leg.
That's right.
He got invited to California for the 100th episode because of her leg.
That's right.
And I guess Adam for drawing on her leg.
Yeah, give him his little bit of credit.
Yeah. Yeah, but just that's how we met Adam and Christine. And it's even though they live in Jersey, it's like we're part of the family now. We follow them on Instagram and Facebook, and they just had their baby, and it's just
that's right. That baby's adorable.
Yeah, and
we saw
2020. I was supposed to go out there and get a tattoo from him. And,
really?
The travel bans and all that stuff. So it's like.
So we were lucky.
I'll get one.
When we were in Baltimore, not last year, but the year before, we were in Baltimore. We were so close. We just drove there from our house. We stayed 2 days with them, and we stayed overnight at the house. The house is exactly like you would expect it to be. We met the family. Christine's dad gave Jamie a Wizard. Jamie's a Wizard of Oz fanatic. He gave Jamie a book from Wizard of Oz that was published in 1949.
Oh, wow.
It's like one of the oldest Wizard of Oz publications ever created. And he just gave it to her. He's like, I've read this like 20 times. You can have it, because Jamie's getting a full sleeve Wizard of Oz tattoo. So it's all family stuff. She got Dorothy with her face, a dog that looks like Toto, but it's Pebbles, who is a Yorkie she was raised with. The farmhouse around the tornadoes, her dad's, where we got married, in the yard and all this stuff. The Cowardly Lion has my brow line. Like, there's a lot of like her stuff in there, but it goes from black and white to color. Technicolor upper arm, and it's all around. So she did half of that. When we stayed with them, and it was so cool. Adam set her up in the chair, because he's got a shop right in their house.
Yeah,
and he set her up in the chair, and that first day, she literally did. he put Wizard of Oz on, and she laid there in that chair, and he just from elbow down to wrist on the outside and the inside, then flipped her over the next day and started carving inside her bicep. And he's such a talented kid, man. That guy is.
He is.
I love him as a human being. He's a talented artist. All those covers are out. Every single one of them.
Yep. I'm gonna take pictures and make sure they get,
I love
get their recognition also,
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. He's a special one. And Robin, the internal artist as well, my co-founder, is also, he's an insanely talented artist. The thing I love about Robin is this guy he's never had any training, no like exposure or background from anybody else. Robin has literally been, I love comics, I like to draw. And he woke up one day and said, I think I can do this. Chad, can we work together? We're in the military. We are both in the military. And he goes, I think that I could do something. He did the pencils, the inks. He does so Adam does the picture. Robin does all of the front cover lettering and anything that's associated with Happen Fury, the issue, or anything like that. He does all that as well. So Robin is another military guy that's crazy talented. He's done the majority of the artwork inside. And, it's, I don't know. I'm blown away with anybody that can draw, because I can't draw shit. I do stick figures.
Me neither.
I'm a writer. I write, and then I do a lot of stick figures.
I'm a consumer. I just watch and enjoy everybody else's talents. So, would you mind if I took a couple pictures of the inside so I could show off Robin's talent?
Go crazy, man.
Awesome.
Go crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah. I love it. You throw whatever out there that you want.
I'm gonna reach out to Adam, see if I can get if he wouldn't mind if I put some of his art out there so people could see his talents too.
Absolutely.
And it's gotta be said. Now I want a tattoo, man.
Jamie's been putting me in that boat too. I'm a big Batman junkie. This is not usually my background. I'm downstairs in our dining room because I'm a one-man show right now, so I'm down here with my dogs. But when I'm upstairs, I actually have in the background, I actually have a bat symbol that's carved and cut and colored out of wood. It has behind it has what are they, LED lights?
LEDs, yeah.
Colors up. And when you walk up to it, because it's a box that's on the wall, you push a little handle and you slide it down, the Batman symbol, you slide it down, and underneath it, you will find a 9mm and a 45 Kimber pistol, fully customized. There are two of them in styrofoam with magazines, with specialty rounds packed by a great friend of mine who passed away. And the two weapons have actually been fully customized for Batman stuff. So they say wham, pow. They're black and yellow with silver new triggers. The hammer is completely customized. The beaver tail is completely customized. The front sight is completely customized. My buddy has completely colored them black, put Wayne Tech, like Bruce Wayne.
Oh, yeah?
Wayne Tech along the weapons themselves. And so I got two of these guys that are hanging out up there. Fully, you can pull them out tomorrow, throw a clip in them and shoot them like they are ready to rock. And my buddy, my wife, and our package of friends all put in together to get that for me for my birthday. 30,
nice.
Yeah, so 31, December 31st, 2020. I turned 36 and got a bunch of Batman stuff as if I was 18.
You're a child, as I sit here with my toys, my comics, and my mask.
Oh, I bet.
Which here, I'll show you this one.
Mask up there, gross face.
Look at this one. You know what this is?
Oh my goodness. I know.
It is. This is a spotlight, so they just give you small little like stories.
Yeah.
This actually is the first time you ever see the Watchmen in a comic book.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So that's like old. Like the history.
It's 85. It's from 85.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
And then hey, for Christmas one year, my wife got me Walking Dead #1.
Yeah. So. Let's go.
And then got to have my first Harley Quinn.
Yeah, let's go. I love that. Oh man, that's beautiful.
So when we say we're nerds, everybody, like we're nerds.
There, I love it.
But yeah, so it's so now that you have the Batman thing that slides down and has guns in it, you're basically John Wick now. Awesome.
We've been working on it. I actually had a guy here recently, believe it or not, who his best friend, because this is how weird as you start talking Hollywood connections, how weird the conversations get. So I met a guy who I'm great friends with now. We text 3 times a week. He is an ex-military guy who turned his script over to a guy who is in Keanu Reeves' jiu-jitsu class. And the guy handed the script off to Keanu Reeves, and Keanu Reeves reached out to my buddy saying, "Hey, I like what you're doing here. Give me some time. I want to have some conversations."
Wow.
So, like, what do you think? You don't have any idea. My buddy, he lives in the middle of Texas. He was an oil. He was like one of the oil workers, like one of the oil field guys that's super miserable and terrible. He wrote a story about that, but he wrote some other really cool stories as well. And he's a very talented kid. And one of the things that he wrote, he sent off to his buddy. His buddy was in a jiu-jitsu class in California with Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves reached out to him to say, "Hey, man, I like what you got going on. Let's have some dialogue about this." So it's really interesting. I also am very close with a friend who I competed against in a competition that I won the best screenplay for. She is you have the Michael B. Jordan, his network that he's kind of building out. He has a right hand that's associated with him. That right hand's right hand is my buddy. Buddy who I competed against in that competition. So it's really wild because as you work through this whole, how do you connect with people? What do you do? And how do you figure out how to get there? It's like, there are people you have no idea are going to eventually get to where they get. It's like, be good to everybody. Treat everyone with respect and have a working understanding that you might make it or they might make it. And you need to know that if they make it, you want to be somebody that they trust and believe in and care about. And so I got 2 buddies that are in two very powerful positions that both feel like what I'm doing is of value. And of course, I'll never be a guy to say, "Hey, hook me up with this guy." But at the same time, knowing that you're that close to someone who has that connection it somehow builds the excitement for what you're doing. I'm excited because I know eventually my stuff's going to get up there. I'm working my butt off, and I know the work will pay off in time. But it's so cool to know that there are people out there who also are doing something similar, and they are moving ahead in the process as well and finding their own connections. And it's not unheard of for somebody to find a connection, come back and say, hey, you're talented. You should come over here and work with me on this project. So,
absolutely.
So I'm very excited to see how things continue to progress. I pitched to one of the original creators of The Lion King on Sunday of last week and got the best pitch feedback I've received on a scale of 1 to 5. I got 5 in 7 categories and 4 in 1 category. So I it was exciting to me. I submitted my script. They asked for it, requested it, and we'll see kind of what comes from that. But I love it's fun. This journey is very interesting.
Yeah, got to enjoy the grind, enjoy the journey, you know. At least that's what Gary Vee tells me.
That's Gary Vee, right? He's the one.
Yeah.
Hustle culture. You got to get on it.
Yep.
I love it.
Chad, I appreciate your time tonight, man. I really do. We should do something again, even if it's just us nerding out, baby. I don't care.
I love it, man. I love it. I appreciate it. And you're awesome. Your channel, what you're doing, the direction you're moving things, Brandon, everything I know you're associated with, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate that. I'm just trying to have fun, but to me, this is important. This interview right here is important to me. This information, I mean, you just never know who's going to stumble across it. Maybe somebody watching this reaches out to me and says, can you put me in touch with this guy? I'm a veteran, you know, and
absolutely.
Hey, who knows what door it could open for somebody. You know?
I love it. Yeah, and I would love it. I would love to bring more people under the banner. I'll take anybody that has any military connection, man. I will work with them through anything they got to work through. They want to write, but they're not writers. It's okay. We'll figure it out. Like, I want people that have the passion, because we can train. Once we know that you care.
Yeah. And just putting this out there, but I have been in a short film, and I have been in an Indian music video, so I got some talents too, Bob. No. So if you need a dead body for a movie, let me know. I can do it.
I love that. I directed my first short in 2020, and it was fun. But I don't know if directing's for me. Yeah. I will write, but if there is a director and I have any influence over his casting selections, I'll send him your way. I'm like, yo, you gotta check out my dude. He's a dead body. I love him.
Yeah. Hey man, I'll be that guy who, like, they'll be panning over and be like, see that guy in the back? That's me. I'm laying right there.
He's got hair sticking up outside of there. We got this.
Oh,
I love
all
it.
Right. Brother. Well, Chad, I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you very much for taking your time to do this. So,
yeah, thank you for having me, and I'm hopeful we can link up again. I really enjoyed the time tonight, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk Mighty Ducks. No.
Let's go. I'm ready for it.
Tell Jamie I said hi.
Well,
you'll have to come on here one day too.
Absolutely. If you ever in Alabama for any reason, make sure you message, because we're here. And
absolutely.
We got plenty of space, as long as you're cool with dogs, because we got.
Oh yeah, love dogs. So. Oh, and then when you go to Comic-Con, I go with. Okay.
So, yeah, we're talking about that. We absolutely have been looking at the schedule and trying to figure out where strategically it makes the most sense.
Oh yeah.
To put a table up. We have been playing with that. Absolutely.
And see, I wonder, not to get off,
Yep.
closing this off, but like somewhere like San Diego that has a big military presence, you know, I wonder if that'd be maybe not even happen to be inside San Diego Comic Con so you could reach more people. They do a lot of stuff outside of San Diego Comic Con.
Absolutely.
Like pop-ups and stuff.
Community in that area.
Yeah. I think that would be
maybe we absolutely got a few different ideas. We've kind of got on an execution matrix we've been working on. There's like a little chart of here are all the Comic Cons coming in this year. Where are the ones that it would make the most sense to strategically tackle from a what we're going to pay versus what we're going to make kind of perspective, from a what we're going to pay versus what we might attain from a fan base perspective. What does that look like? We are also playing very heavily with a concept out there that we're calling Books and Brew. I've been talking to a lot of local breweries here in Alabama, and obviously they're, hey, come in, drink. Talking to them about, hey, could we put together a specialty menu that would be mixed drinks or something that's based around characters from comic books. Then could we just, like, on every table that's in here, spread out a big old thing of comics? I'll get with the local comic shops. They can come in and bring some of their books. I will bring some of the comics we're working on. We'll throw all this stuff on a big table. We'll get everybody in here for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hour period. You guys will come in, order you some drinks that are specialty, hang out with your friends, look at some comic books, talk and hang and whatever. That's something else that I'm kind of playing with here in Alabama. And we're still working our way through what the logistics of that would look like and who would make money for what and who wouldn't and how it would all play out. But that's something that is definitely in the framework. So we have a lot of breweries here. And I know that alcohol and comics can easily make for a real good night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So we're playing with a few different things, but I'll definitely keep you in the loop on everything that's going on, and definitely want to keep in touch.
Yeah, anything I can do to help you, just let me know, bud.
I appreciate you, brother. I do love I love this platform and opportunity to hang with you. Thank you so much for the time. I'm greatly appreciative of you. Hope the family's amazing, and hopefully I'll get to see you at a con here sometime.
Yes. Hopefully. I need to bring him back. I know it's not safe right now, but I can't wait. I'll wear a hazmat suit if I have to right now. So
this isn't cosplay. I'm just trying to be safe.
Yeah. And cosplay safe. That's what we'll do.
Like, is that Master Chief? I don't know what's going on. Yeah, beekeeper.
Again, everybody, thank you for tuning in with Tokyo.
Thanks,
if you want, look at the link below. I'm going to put Chad's link to Battleborne Comics here so you guys can check out his stuff. I know he's got mugs, he's got sweatshirts, he's got t-shirts. He's got these 3 comics out right now. Badass comics.
Thanks, brother.
Check them out. Story's good. You'll be pissed that there's not a 4th one out yet. I know, but but again, Chad, thank you for your time. Thank you for doing what you're doing with Battleborne Comics.
Hey, I appreciate you, brother. And thank you for the time to address you and your audience. I'm so thankful for the opportunity, and I'm hope that we can keep building this thing into something special.
Absolutely.
Thanks, brother.
No problem. Everybody, have a great night.